As a long-range shooter myself, you know it's very rewarding when you know you hit your target at long range. You can see and hear the report, but where exactly did you hit it can be very challenging. Even having a spotting scope requires a secondary person, or sometimes it's hard to see in the mirage, especially out here in this desert. So I'm very happy and excited to offer the Eagle Target Cam to folks for you guys to purchase. And having a target cam in your arsenal is an awesome tool to have. So it's been highly requested to make a tutorial video. Even though we do provide instructions on how to operate this thing, we do understand that having a video representation is very helpful. Though I made this video in the past, in the top right, I'll link it up here, that was with the older target cam, and we had to redesign the target cam to accommodate the manufacturer changes. So this one, we did add a removable battery, like I said, and it is now in a kind of a more compact design. So in this video, we're going to go over the tips and tricks, how to operate the Eagle Target Cam, some troubleshooting guides, and show you how easy this thing is to use downrange. So when you purchase the Eagle Target Cam, it'll come in a white box, and inside that white box, you'll get the Eagle Target Cam with the antenna attached to it already, a Wi-Fi base station, a battery pack, and USB cord. Now, I do have this thing in a rugged case, and we currently do not offer the rugged case for it at the moment because of the cost. The cost of actually shipping the whole entire Wi-Fi camera itself, plus the case, far exceeds just going to Harbor Freight and purchasing this thing. So this is a Harbor Freight pistol storage box, and like I said, it's very affordable. Head to your local Harbor Freight and pick up one of these, which are very nice, and it will house basically the Eagle Target Cam. So if this is your first time operating the Eagle Target Cam, in big bold letters in the instructions, it does say to charge your camera unit. So we had a few calls come in, and folks were complaining that it didn't work. Simply find out that they didn't charge their camera. So contrary to popular belief, sad to say, we do have to state that these cameras do operate on battery, and it does require a charge. So there's two ways to charge this. Like I said, there is a removable battery door, and inside of here there is an 18650 battery. So if you are a vapor or electronic smoker, you may have an 18650 battery and charger laying around. If not, this thing does charge via micro USB. So on the newer models here, we are offering these things in micro USB-C. And if you have a Samsung device and you still have the factory USB model, this port is designed to utilize that. If you have an aftermarket micro USB cord, do know that sometimes those aftermarket USB cords have quite excessive overmolding, which won't allow this thing to fully seat down. So you're going to have to source yourself out a micro USB cord. Now, the Wi-Fi base station does not have an internal battery. So I'll repeat, there is no battery inside the Wi-Fi base station. This is why we provide a battery pack and USB cord. This battery pack and USB cord is meant to be used with the Wi-Fi base station. Though the battery pack itself could also charge your Wi-Fi camera if you're in the field, providing you have the proper cord. So again, like I mentioned, use this battery pack with the Wi-Fi station. So let's go ahead and set up the operation of the target cam and what you'll need. So downrange, we're going to look at an IPSC target at 1,000 yards. To get the best picture quality to see your impacts on steel, that is going to be setting up the target cam within 3 to 5 feet. If you are shooting paper, you want to be no more than 4 feet. Now, the reason for this is because the target cam, the camera module itself, has a focal point around 3.5 feet. Now, this does transmit a QXGA picture quality, which is above 1080p picture at 2 megapixels. Now, we do understand there's folks concerned about putting a target cam that close to the target in fear of hitting it. Do know that anything downrange is a potential target. There are ways to save this thing, or basically protect it, by putting a piece of steel behind it and having the antenna exposed. If not, like I said, this thing is a potential target. It is pretty much designed to be disposable. So to get the best picture quality, like I said, 3 to 5 feet for steel, no more than 4 feet for paper. And if you're going to shoot paper, well, hate to stress this, if you're shooting a black paper, it's going to be hard to see black holes. So it takes a little bit of common sense. Have contrast on your paper. Shoot and see targets are going to be very helpful for seeing your impacts, especially if you're shooting 22. So if you're shooting some of the bullseye 22 targets that are black, do know it will be hard to see your impacts. Also, lighting is a huge factor. Again, this is a camera. Just like any cameras, including your phone, is going to require good lighting. So if you're in a dim situation or have quite a bit of overcast, which today isn't that bad, it's going to have lower quality picture. So on a daylight or sunny day, you're going to see the best quality. Obviously, do not point this thing at the sun because you're going to get a glare. Other than that, I'll show you guys how I set this camera up. Okay, so we're going to set up the target cam on the base of this IPSC target, and on the bottom of the target cam there is a brass insert. That is a 1/4 28 brass insert. So if you grab yourself a tripod, you can go to your local Wally World, pick one of these little cheapy tripods up, or perhaps a bigger one, and you can go ahead and thread in the bottom right here, 1/4 28 thread into that tripod. So like I said, we're going to set this thing up about 4 feet from the target, and obviously it's on the bottom of the target, so we're going to have to angle this thing up pretty high. So when you set up the target cam, you want the antenna to be in the upward most possible position. Obviously with it being angled this way, it's going to be in an angle. This is a omnidirectional antenna, so it's going to broadcast in a 180 degree circle. So as you can see here, it's about 4 feet from the target, aiming up at the target. At this point, go ahead and turn on the target cam, and a green LED on the bottom will light up and stay solid green. If you see this thing dim, perhaps the battery is low, so that's a good indication that you have a low battery. If it doesn't go solid green, this camera did not boot up and do the start sequence. So you want to look for a solid bright green light. At this point, we're going to head to our firing point and set up the base station. So at your firing point, to utilize the Wi-Fi base station, it may be folded up as so. The Wi-Fi base station uses a directional antenna and a local antenna. Now the directional antenna is the panel antenna here. The direction of the antenna is as shown. The panel antenna has a logo on this antenna itself. The logo side is what aims at the camera downrange. So folding out the Wi-Fi base station, being very gentle because it is 3D printed, you can fold it out like that, have it straight up, straight down, sideways, whatever you need. And the directional antenna allows you to swivel, allows you to move it left and right, and whatnot. You want the logo side facing the target cam as best as possible. Get behind the actual Wi-Fi base station as best as you can and aim it downrange at the target cam. The elevation is a key priority, so you want the elevation as best as possible. There is a 6-degree radius of this directional antenna, so if you perhaps use the back side of this antenna without the logo, you will not get the range that you need. Now the front side is where the maximum distance is allowed. Now as far as the other antenna, you can flip it up as best as possible. Having the Wi-Fi base station on and operating, you can walk around within a 50-yard radius with your viewing device. So once you have the Wi-Fi base station aimed at your target cam as best as possible, the next thing you're going to do is basically get your battery pack. Now inside your battery pack obviously comes with the battery pack and a micro USB cord. Now on the Wi-Fi base station, there is no on and off button, even though there is a little slide switch here that is for future use, that is not operational for this purposes as of yet. Now there's also is a reset button. This reset button must be avoided at all times. What that does, it actually does reset and defaults the Wi-Fi base station and its settings. So that's been another issue that's been ongoing. Folks are hitting this reset button and holding it down, causing the Wi-Fi base station default. So on the newer models, I am putting some glue to keep you from touching that reset button. So slide switch and reset button is not utilized at the moment. Again, this Wi-Fi base station, every time if you do pick it up or the wind moves it, you want to go ahead and make sure it's aiming as best as possible downrange. Your on and off switch for the Wi-Fi base station is simply plugging in the battery pack. So with that said, we're going to go ahead, turn on the battery pack. So this one does have an on and off switch. It's right here. And we will plug in the USB cord on the side here. So what will happen is an array of LED lights will light up. You'll see a green and red light. And waiting exactly 1 minute and 15 seconds, you'll see the red light start blinking and operating on the Wi-Fi base station. That means it connected to the Wi-Fi camera downrange. So again, you can see here, I just powered it up. All you see is a green light. So after about 1 minute and 20 seconds, you'll see the red light start blinking and being operational. That's going to tell you that it's broadcasting its Wi-Fi signal. Okay, so on your viewing device for the demonstration purposes today, I am using a Samsung Note 20. You can utilize an Apple device as well as a laptop. So for this demonstration purposes, I must stress that you must know how to operate your device. I can't stress that enough. If you're one of those folks that have a problem knowing how to turn on and off your Wi-Fi as well as connecting to different networks, honestly, this product is not for you. You will have issues with other target cams in the market that are similar to mine because it does require the same kind of connection. So again, if you have problems with being able to connect your Wi-Fi, turn on and off your Wi-Fi, disconnect your Wi-Fi from different networks and connect to this network, again, this product will give you some frustration. So with that stated, again, I'm using a Samsung device. Simply open up your Wi-Fi menu by holding down the Wi-Fi screen. It will scan for available Wi-Fi networks. If you're in a wide open area, you may find only one Wi-Fi near you. If you're near the target cam and the Wi-Fi base station, you may see the target cam labeled as Eagle Target Cam with some numbers. You do not want to connect to that target cam. You want to connect to the Wi-Fi base station at all times. So, designating one device to the Wi-Fi base station is advised. If you have multiple devices that have connected to the Wi-Fi base station, that will cause interference. So, with that stated, I am only going to designate this phone to the Wi-Fi base station. Simply click the Wi-Fi base station. It's going to ask you for a password. That password is lowercase target cam as spelled. Well, if you spell it correctly. So, target cam as spelled. Go ahead and connect. Once it connects, it's going to give you a message. A message shall pop up either on your Apple device or your Samsung device telling you that there is no internet available. As you can see here, the message showing is internet may not be available. If you wish to stay connected to this network, your phone will also stay connected to the network wherever this network is in future. Now, this will give you an option to click allow switch or stay connected. For a Samsung device, you want to say stay connected. If you're on an Apple device, it may give you a similar message and give you an option for switching networks. You do not want to do that. You want to say stay or use network as is or stay connected. So something of that nature. Now it'll do its thing. It'll say connected without internet. So once that's up and running, if you have the Eagle Target Cam app downloaded from the Play Store, you can go ahead and simply open that up. And as you can see here, it'll do its boot up device, and you'll see the target cam being portrayed downrange. At this point, you can utilize the app to zoom in and do all the other features that I have shown on the video previously. That stated, there is also a reset connection on the top left, which you can hit, and there is latency to this target cam. This target cam is streaming a QXGA picture quality, which is about 1 megabytes a second downrange. So the frame rate is going to be around 12 frames a second. So you're going to see a little bit of lag. That is normal. And honestly, to get this type of picture quality streaming without any latency and lag is going to require some very heavy duty Wi-Fi devices. So to be cost effective for what it is, this device will have lag, and it is what it is. Other than that, like I said, you could move the target around, stream it, do whatever you got to do, zoom in, whatnot. And how the features of this app work is pretty simple. The top right takes a snapshot. It'll tell you to discard, save picture, whatnot. The middle button looks like an eyeball. That is called the blink feature. Essentially what that does, it takes a snapshot of a before picture. So if you utilize it and initialize it, it will take a screenshot and start streaming your video still. If you happen to do an impact, for instance, you move just a little bit, go ahead and hit the blink feature again, and it will flash that image back and forth. For instance, if that was a shot taken downrange, you will see exactly where you hit your target on target. And then lastly, the bottom picture is your gallery. So if you hit that, it'll bring up all the images you saved. Now, unfortunately, I do not have this app working for Apple at the moment, or perhaps you do have a Samsung device or Android device that is unable to download the app. Unfortunately, I have no control of how Google blocks me. Sad to say, but Google is very hard to get apps on the market. So with that stated, there is another way to basically operate this device simply by using your web browser. So on your web browser, open up your web browser. It could be Safari, it could be Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, whatever it is, and type in this IP address. It is 192.168.1.1 semicolon, which is the 2 dots, 81 and /. Be surprised how many folks don't know what a colon or / is these days. And then after that, type in stream. So, nope, not stream.com, stream. And hit go. That is going to bring up the web page. And there you go. You have the target cam up and running. You can zoom, you can move in, pinch in and out to zoom and all that other stuff. Now, a quick little tip you could do is save this on your home screen. So if you go to the top right here and bring down the hamburger button, menu options, you could click down and scroll down to where it says add to home screen. That is going to give you an icon, and it's basically going to give you a quick link to use for future reference. So it'll tell you add to home screen, say add. So we'll go ahead and close this, close everything. And you'll see here on my phone, there is a little icon. If I click that, it automatically brings up the web browser and we'll start streaming. So perhaps you're wondering what this little white sticker is on the Wi-Fi base station. That is a NFC tag. If you're not familiar with what an NFC tag is, it is basically a sticker that has a set command for your mobile device. With that said, this is what I ended up doing, is adding a little quick connect feature to the Wi-Fi base station. So when the Wi-Fi base station is up and running, your mobile device is connected to the Wi-Fi base station. You have NFC turned on, so this works for both Apple or Android devices. You can simply get your Wi-Fi viewing device, get close to the NFC tag when it's unlocked. So your device has to be unlocked. Get close to the tag, and it's going to bring up a message here, new tag scan, and it's going to give you the ability to basically click this where it says stream. So you can basically click the web address right there, and it'll bring up the web stream. Let it do its thing, and you'll see the Wi-Fi camera up and running. So there you go. That's a quick way to, instead of remembering the web address for the camera, if you can't use the app, you can utilize the NFC connection to quickly get your web stream up and running. So perhaps you got a phone call or something and your web browser closed, and you go ahead and open up your web browser again and try to retype the address and get it going again. You may have this issue where it's just not showing the stream. It's just kind of spinning its wheels. Well, that's another issue. Like I said, you have to be very proficient with your device. One thing that Google likes to do is open up tabs. So if you look at the top right here, you'll have a tab button. If you open up the tab button, you may have the web browser already open. And that is why you're not seeing the stream, because it's already streaming on a different tab. Like I said, only one viewing device at a time, and this is the same exact thing as having a couple devices connected. So if you open up a web browser and you do this and you find you're getting a no internet error, well, simply check to make sure when your tabs are open and you do not have a stream already running. If you do, well, that's the problem. Go ahead and close this out, and you'll see that if I refresh this screen, it's going to go ahead and, well, if I go ahead and retype in that web address, you'll see that it's going to bring up the stream again. And doing a little thing, and there you go. So there you go, you have it. If you have another web browser, like I said, you open it up, try this out again, same thing. It'll do its thing, spin its wheels, and it's not going to give you your viewing device. So if you're having issues and you're using the web browser, this is your problem. You already have a tab open. So there you have it. That is basically how you set it up on any mobile device. So troubleshooting. If your device happens to be near a Wi-Fi connection, for instance, your house or something that you are nearby that you often connect to, your mobile device will try to go to the strongest connection possible. With that stated, if you do lose viewing stream or Wi-Fi at some point, reconnect or verify that you are connected to the Wi-Fi camera. Also, again, if you have two devices that have connected to the Wi-Fi base station and those devices happen to have the Wi-Fi turned on and both of them try to connect to the Wi-Fi base station, or as you're streaming, your other device connects to the Wi-Fi base station, it'll kick you off. Like I said, it is best advised to have one device dedicated for the target cam, i.e. either a cheap tablet or an older phone, or perhaps just your one phone you have. So on your viewing device, perhaps you may have some antivirus software or a VPN. Having those antivirus softwares or VPNs will cause connection issues. If you have that software on there and you're experiencing connection issues, I advise to personally get another device that doesn't have that software and see if it does connect without any issues. If it does, then perhaps maybe your device is just blocking the stream. This Wi-Fi target cam requires straight direct contact with the Wi-Fi, the viewing device, without any interference as far as, antivirus software and whatnot. So that's another tip. Lastly, if somehow you lose connection or just cannot, get the stream going again, the web browsers have a refresh feature. If you go ahead and just hit the web browser again, or perhaps just scroll down, touch the screen and drag down, you'll get the icon looks like this. This is a refresh button. If you refresh, it's going to bring up the web page again and refresh its connection. If you do that, that perhaps may bring up your web stream. If it does not, there could be a high chance that maybe your battery downrange on the target cam has went out. You possibly have ran out of battery. Now the camera itself will stream 1080p picture at longer range for around 4 to 6 hours. When you get to the longer ranges, like 1 mile, your battery life may deplete a little bit faster. You'll probably get down to close to 3 hours. So, with that said, if you happen to lose streaming, well, maybe the battery went out on the target cam. So check those things. Check your Wi-Fi connection. Make sure you have only one device connected to your Wi-Fi router. Make sure your device is fully charged, and make sure your antenna is pointed downrange accordingly. So making sure your antenna is pointed as best as you can to the target cam is going to help keep the connection. So as you can see here, once you have it all set up, this target cam works flawless. And honestly, it's very simple to set up. All you have to do is turn on the target cam, hit your firing point, aim the target cam downrange, your Wi-Fi base station, connect to the Wi-Fi base station, either open up the app or you could type in the web browser. And as simple as that. Well, folks, that's a quick tutorial on how to get the Eagle Target Cam up and running, some troubleshooting tips. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, definitely comment below. If you have any problems or you're just having issues connecting and you want to get some help, you can definitely contact us at info@dpgunworks.com. We'll be glad to help and we'll get you going. As always, folks, stay safe, and I'll catch y'all on the next video. Thanks for watching.